Hi everybody. It's been a while since I've recorded. I know it hasn't been as long since I posted. I don't recall when I posted part 2 for the pop culture, but I recorded those on May 31st, so it's definitely been some time for me now that I'm recording this on the 17th of June. This is definitely a more serious topic than my last one. I'm trying to kind of switch them in and out. I'm hoping not to have too many serious ones, but this is kind of weighing on me. I had a incident happen within the city I live in. Well, I can't call it an incident, but it was, I don't know, it just kind of raised a lot of feelings for me and brought back a lot of memories that I'm trying to get past, and I feel like this is something that I should just share and hope that it helps. Okay, apologies. I had to run and do something. So anyways, I have gone through a lot family-wise in my life. And honestly, looking at it, a lot of it has been toxic. It took me a lot longer to notice it than I care to admit, but you know, I can now admit that I was in a toxic environment and that there were people that they caused me a lot of harm emotionally and mentally. And unfortunately, they've made it so that I have a lot of problems now, which people that are close to me know that I do have these struggles. Like, I have really bad trust issues and I can't go out and socialize. Like, I am genuinely scared to, like, get close to people, which has definitely been strange this last year because with my best friend and with my girlfriend, I don't know, with both of them, I met them kind of randomly, I guess, and both ways it wound up being a very quick connection for me, which is very strange since I really do struggle to trust people. And for those of you that have watched my videos prior to this, you've seen the ones on my toxicity and relationships that I was in. I will have another one that is toxicity within friendships, which caused me a lot of trust issues with people of my same age group and like that I wanted to be friends with, so I definitely struggle in that aspect. But this one I am going to be worrying about the family side of things. Just to give you a little bit of history, I've had 3 dads in my life. My biological dad walked out on me when I was 5. My brother's biological dad, who took me in when I was pretty little still, I think it was about 3 when we started getting closer, and he left when I was 15. And I mean, my current dad is sticking around and has actually, you know, been positive. Yeah, so starting at the beginning, I have had a lot of siblings in my life. Let's just say my first 2 dads didn't really know how to keep it in their pants. So I had an older brother who I never got to meet from my biological dad, who was put up for adoption, and I've never met him, so that part sucks. Based on what me and my 2 sisters look like from my biological dad's side, I feel like he looks similar to us since we all look pretty similar, just with slightly different characteristics because we all have different moms. It's a complicated thing. People that have known me for a while still don't quite understand it. It's a lot of like having to explain who's who when I am talking about this stuff. So obviously I'm not going to use names because I don't want to risk any like backlash for people, like if they happen to see it or whatever. I'm being safe about this. I don't want to out people about it and say who it is. I just want to be kind in that regard. So then I'm starting with siblings from my biological father's side. So then there was me, which I am a year younger than my brother. Then after my dad broke up with my mom and everything, they broke up when I was 6 months old. He wound up having another baby, which was my first little sister, who I've met one time and I don't remember it. I've got pictures, and that was when she was born, but I have no recollection of it. I have texted with her recently, but that's about it. I don't really have that steady connection with her either. And she's, I want to say, a year younger than me. And then there's my youngest sister on that side, and her and I have a very close connection. We still see each other as often as we can. We do live quite a few hours away from each other, but our moms are like about as close as they can be. They've all been really positive towards me with my coming out and everything. My sister, her mom, her grandma, they've all, I had a coming out video that I posted on my Facebook and just on social media in general, just finally having my coming out. My grandmother, who, if anybody watched my coming out story, her and my grandpa don't really accept that stuff. She follows me on Facebook, like we're friends and everything, and I didn't hide that from her. I straight up just said that I am bi and that I like both. And when I posted that, I had a lot of family friends comment, but my sister's family had commented a lot, and it was good to know that they accepted it. I mean, they've always been really accepting of me, which I have always really appreciated. So I'm hoping by sharing this can help people that may not see the toxicity, or just to let people know that if they are going through this, they're not the only one. Sorry, my hair keeps going in my face. So that's all I have technically on my biological father's side. He has taken in 2 other daughters since then, but he has not spoken to me since I was 5 years old. My mom has told me about the fact that he called a couple days after he stopped seeing me at 1 o'clock in the morning asking to talk to me, and I was obviously in bed. Like, I was 5 years old and it's 1 in the morning, like, and so my mom said, like, you know, I'm not waking her up to talk like this late in the night. And after that he gave up. I don't have many memories with him, and those that I do are the bad ones. There's one good memory I have with him, and that was that he gave me his old desk in my bedroom, and it was this, like, plastic, colorful desk, and, like, I can vividly remember a lot of things as long as I want to, even if I don't want to, I guess, too. But I just remember having everything labeled, so I knew where everything was. I had a whole drawer specifically for sticky tack, and it might explain why I use sticky tack so often. Like, a lot of my things on my walls are hung up by sticky tack. I find it useful and everything. So I have, I've retained just the way it looked. And I mean, now I have a desk that it is an artist desk, so it's, proper for my age. So I remember that, but the only other memories I have with him is that there is a motel in the city that's a little further away from where I live, and I have never learned how to swim properly. I've done swimming lessons, but ever since I think I was about 4 when it happened, because it was one of the last times I'd seen him. He took me up the water slide at the motel. I had no idea how to swim. I didn't know how to hold my breath underwater. Like, I wasn't one of those people that was put in swimming lessons super early in life. And we went down this slide that went into the deep end, and I have always been very short, like, and he let go of me at the end of the slide, and I went directly into the water. I still, if I go under the water or like have a bunch go over my face, I can still see it. And I remember seeing him swim towards me, but I was like so panicked because I was underwater. I couldn't breathe. I was terrified. And when he finally got me out, like, there were other people in the area of the pool, and he somehow managed to get almost on the other side of the pool. And I will never understand how that happened. So we got out of the pool. I put clothes on over top of my swimsuit. We went to the dollar store and got me this little floaty. And all I remember was that it was pink and it had some sort of head. I feel like it may have been a flamingo. I don't know. But he blew it up. We put it in the water. And then he let me get into it by myself. And I fell right off the other side of it because it had tipped. Because again, I was not much for water. I didn't really go into it, and I didn't use floaties. Like, the most I had been in, like, a pool other than, going with my mom was this little kiddie pool that... Okay, yet again, I apologize. My cat is being a little bit of a troublemaker. So anyways, I fell in the water again. Again, couldn't breathe. Thankfully, he was closer this time, so he got me out quicker. I remember this one woman being, like, really concerned, but, things were fine. So, I do recall that, which is unfortunate, and it has made me scared of water ever since. I know I've gone down water slides since then, and, I've had instances where I do go under the water, and it makes me panic. Even today, like, I will get feelings of, like, that I've been inhaling water, even if I haven't. Like, I was literally sitting in a chair in my living room, and it started to have that feeling. And it just immediately makes me panic. So, I don't know why my sinuses have been doing that, but it's definitely screwing with me. So yeah, sorry, I need to fix this. I feel like that's really, really high up. So yeah, I remember that, and the only other one I have with him is a day we went outside with my youngest sister's mom, and my dad found this little black and yellow caterpillar. He came over to me and asked if I wanted to hold it, because, like, he was, and it was fine. I have never searched up what kind of caterpillar it was, or if it even was a caterpillar. But he set it in my hand, and I got some sort of thistle or something in my hand. He didn't do anything. I was freaking out because, like, I was probably 3 at this point. I was a child and had this in my hand. So my stepmom took me inside, grabbed tweezers, and took it out. She went and took me in, not my actual dad. And it was the same situation where I had this huge coloring book, opened it, wasn't paying any attention, and gave myself a paper cut. I remember getting it right across my thumb. He wasn't even around. He wasn't supervising me as a child with this giant coloring book, which, like, I've been a clumsy kid forever, but, like, even then, like, I feel like I had that coloring book when I was 2 or 3 at that point, so maybe you should be monitoring your kid. I don't know, that's my opinion. I don't know if others feel differently about that. But it was, again, my stepmom that took care of the cut and gave me a bandage and everything so that I would, because, like, it wouldn't stop bleeding. Of course, me being a child, I wanted to, like, fix it, and I just kept making it worse. So there was that, and the only good memories I have are with my stepmom and my sister and my step grandma. we used to go there all the time. Like, I remember, you know, playing with my sister. I remember her having these huge plushies that we used to throw at each other. I do remember accidentally hurting her one day. I had thrown one and she hit her head on the bed frame. We were normally very careful about it, but I was not paying attention. Everything worked out. She didn't actually, like, hurt, like, do anything damaging. She just had a slight bump on her head. Her and I still joke about it today. She didn't remember it, but I definitely did. And unfortunately, when he cut contact with me, she was 2. And he cut contact with her as well. And my grandma on his side never acknowledged that she existed, and honestly, he didn't either, and they lived in the same town. I didn't. Like, I still lived 2 or 3 hours away. I never remember how far it is. But I remember the town. I remember a lot of it, and, like, that kind of screwed me up for a while. Like, there was a long period of time where, you know, I did want my dad to be there for things. I wanted him to be there for my, like, grade 8 grad, which was my going into high school. And I wanted him to be there for my birthdays. I wanted him to be there when I became a teenager. Like, there were so many things he missed, and he's continuing to miss. And it took me so long to just let go and give up with him because there was no use. My mom sent him pictures, birthdays, Father's Day, and virtually any other time that it was appropriate, and she never got a response. And yeah, so there was that, which it wasn't really toxic for me so much as just emotionally damaging, and just honestly damaging in the long run, because that definitely started my trust issues being really low. So then getting into I called him dad for as long as I could remember, but he was my brother's dad. And I say was not in the sense that he is dead, but in the sense, I mean, he's dead to me, is what I'll say. I didn't have problems with him for quite a while. He was around until I want to say I was 6 or 7 when my current dad came into the picture, and honestly, my mom and my dad's relationship wasn't healthy through those years, but they stayed together for me and my brother. And he has a son who is 3 years older than me. Him and I got along pretty well. He obviously got along better with my brother because, you know, the boys click and everything. I got along with him semi-well, especially after I came out to him. I came out to my siblings a lot earlier than I did to my dad. Unfortunately, he was one of the first people I came out to, and he didn't have a good reaction. I think I talked about it in my coming out story, as far as I remember. If you want to hear that side of things, like, please feel free. I will probably make mention to it here, but not as in-depth as I would have. He got together with a lot of women after my mom, and he had a daughter who was 16 days younger than me, obviously from a different woman than my mom, because definitely wouldn't have worked. And then then they had my brother, which he is 2 years younger than me. And yeah, then he had another son back in, like, I want to say 2012, 2013. I've never met him. I've seen one picture, and that was when he was born. The woman that is his mom kicked my dad out right after she found out she was pregnant. She was the last stepmom on his side that I actually really liked. Everybody else was in some way just, it didn't work. There was one who had a daughter already, and her daughter was an absolute terror. Which, like, I know she was younger, so, like, at the time, it drove me crazy. Looking back now, she was young, she didn't really know. Like, yes, her mom should have been a little bit on top of things, but, you know, whatever. I do struggle to remember basically anybody before the one that had the little boy. And then his current partner, who basically caused all the toxicity to start, they got together probably 5-6 years ago now. And I was the only one that was not blood connected to almost anybody there. I had blood connection to my brother, and that was basically my connection to the family. And this woman came in with a son who, at the time, I think he was about 2. I genuinely never remember his age. I don't care. And he was kind of sweet from the beginning, and like, I used to sit down and I tried to teach him how to read, and I had the video for a long time, and then I just deleted it because he became a terror. And then they had a daughter together, who I loved so much, until she started only seeing her mom and her brother, who hated me. And I don't use that term lightly. A lot of that family hated me, and they proved it in every way possible. My dad's mom, so my grandma, unfortunately I'm using these terms, I don't use them anymore. I first name all of these adults that are in my life, or were in my life, but I'm not doing that here. But that woman, she did so many things. She threw a remote at me because I tried to help my brother read, because if I know how to work the machine, then I should do it. And then she threw the remote at me, which that was my mom's straw that, like, really broke the camel's back. And she told my dad that I was not allowed to be alone with that woman again. It wound up making it so I could ride in a limo, which was pretty cool. But yeah, so between that and then I still have it actually, it's somewhere in my room, but I have this little pink purse that was like a sling over, and I carried that everywhere with me. I kept my phone in it so I could text my mom. I kept like this little change purse I had, and just a couple other things, and I brought that everywhere. Like, that was my, like, big girl thing, basically. And in the playroom she had for all of her grandchildren, because she had a lot. I had a lot of cousins. And it was when you were standing towards the closet, the right side was all of our toys, the left side was all of her stuff, and nobody was allowed to go in there unless they were given permission. And I don't know why I did. I don't know if we were eating or what. I had my phone in my pocket because I didn't walk around without it, especially when I was there. Excuse me. I wasn't fond of being there ever. And I set my purse in the front right corner of the closet. My sister saw me do it. My younger brother saw me do it. And I went back into that room later. Couldn't find my purse anywhere. And I'm like, okay, where is my purse? So I start digging around the closet because I'm like, okay, well, maybe somebody came in here and, like, mistakenly put it in the toy box. Like, I don't know. And all of a sudden I glance to my left, and there it is on all of her stuff. So of course, I'm like, okay, well, I need to get my purse. Like, we have to leave. So I opened the other closet. So it was like a 2-door slide thing. So I slid them both over so I could just quickly go in there and grab it. There was this filing cabinet basically against the closet. So I had to, like, squeeze in to get through there. And just as I grabbed my purse and was about to head out, she walked in and started freaking out at me because I was invading her privacy. And, like, all I could do was be like, I'm getting my purse. That's it. I'm not digging through your stuff. My purse is sitting on top of everything. just grabbing it. Like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I'm not that kind of person. I don't dig through people's belongings. I find that really awful, and I mean, I don't like the idea of people digging through my stuff, which did happen with my dad's current wife. Because that woman was awful. She just, like, she invaded a lot of privacy. And so that effectively ruined my relationship with my grandma. They used to surprise us saying, oh, we're going to grandma's, and like, after a few surprises, I started carrying notebooks, sketchbooks, my phone, my charger. Like, I carried everything I could with me at all times when we went out. So just in case, I could go into that playroom, I would grab one of the, like, pillowy chairs they had, and I would sit and just be in there the entire time. That woman stopped hugging me, she stopped saying goodbye to me, she stopped saying hello to me, and she did it for everybody else that they walked in the door. Which, I couldn't care less, but nobody else said a word. Like, it was completely aggravating. And so that I realized in the time that, like, I didn't need that, and I just got over it. And then the toxicity of him and his wife happened. So they got together about 6 years ago, and they hadn't been together for 3 months when he looked at me and he's like, so would you be okay if I married her? And like, I'm thinking, okay, well, you guys have been together for only 3 months. I've known this chick for only like a month and a half. And here I'm thinking, he's just like seeing what I think so far, because I'm the only one that doesn't have any connection to him. So like, I've always been the odd one out. And I said, sure. It didn't really bother me. And the next thing we knew, not even a month later, they came back and were like, oh yeah, we got married. Didn't have any family there except for both of their moms. That was it. They didn't have any of their kids there. They didn't have any other family. And they hid it from us. We had no idea. They come back, bring us shirts that are the ugliest things I've ever seen. Mine, I'm not even sure where it is. I threw that stuff far away from me. And then they decided to have a, like, wedding party later. And they did that about 3 weeks later. And it was the kids' responsibility at, let's see, 2 11-year-olds, a 9-year-old, and a 14-year-old to decorate this huge hall for their wedding party. So me and my older brother were doing streamers and stuff, and like my younger siblings were dealing with the tables. We did and of course none of us said anything. Like that just seemed normal. And yeah, so we sat there, we did all the stuff, and then all of a sudden, and because of my dad leaving and everything, I've always had a really strong connection to my mom. And I've struggled with getting homesick a lot. I've gotten better with it over the years, with a lot of, like, mentally preparing myself for stuff like that. But I'd been homesick before at my dad's, and he knew I had. And all of a sudden, because they were like, oh yeah, bring some blankets and pillows, and here I'm thinking like, okay, well, we're gonna be out for a while, like, you know, might want to sleep on the way back, whatever. And all of a sudden, they start setting up camping tents about 10 meters from the building. I had never been camping before. I was 11, and it wasn't something my family did or currently do. So I'd never been camping. They threw this on us. I was already getting homesick because we were hours away from home. And I never felt like I fit in there, so like I constantly wanted to be at home, but like I wanted to see my siblings was my main priority. And then I brought a blanket from home because they had really terrible options for blankets at their house. And it was one of my favorite blankets. I still have it. It's in my garage right now. But they used that to line the bottom of the tent while it was pouring rain so that nothing else would get wet. And I wound up telling them that I want to go home. And my stepmom started getting super angry because they had got it all set up, which they hadn't even gotten remotely done. But I already felt like I was incredibly disrespected because my blanket was being used for something that wasn't my blanket. And I went and sat in the SUV. I was cold and sad. I had been crying. Like, I'm an emotional person. This is a struggle for me to sit and talk about this. Like, I'm trying really hard not to get emotional. But my older brother came into the SUV and he's like, I'll sleep in here with you tonight if that makes you feel better. And I was like, I appreciate that, but no, like, I need to go home. And in that case, home for us was to just go back to their place, which we did. And I remember my brother's bedroom was the entire basement main room because they bought a place without enough rooms for their, at the time, 5 children. And me and my siblings, not the one that came from my stepmom, just the original 4, we decided we were going to sleep downstairs together. We were going to grab the mattresses, lay them out, whatever. And I will probably never forget this moment till the day I die. I was sitting down there, I was all cozy, my brothers were already asleep. And from upstairs, I could hear my sister, my best friend, talking to my stepmom and talking about how awful it was that because I felt really awful being there, that I ruined their trip. And I sat down there, turned over, and sobbed into my pillow. Because I felt like I was the worst person for ruining their trip. When I went home after that, I didn't say any of this to my mom because I didn't know what that was going to do to my relationship with my dad. And looking back, I should have said something because, like, my mom has always been on my side, and I know she would have done something, and I knew she would have done something. I think that was what scared me, was that I was scared that, I was going to lose my dad. I was scared I was going to lose my sister. I was scared I was going to lose my brothers, which I know now I never would have lost my blood-related brother. And I went and just, I ignored it for the morning. We went home and I just pretended like it didn't happen. And the second issue we had was a little while later when I had a school project to do with my... Alright, apologies, my device just glitched. Thankfully I didn't lose any of the progress, but anyways, I had a project to do with my friend and we had to go and collect donations. So I texted my dad just to remind him that my friend was coming for the weekend and that we were going to do our donation collecting on the Saturday. And he told me that I couldn't this weekend, when he had told me weeks ago that I could, because, I was able to. And I asked why, and he kept saying how he can't tell me, and that, he has a surprise plan, and I was like, okay, I have to do this for school, this is important. And he ended up finally telling me that he was planning to take us on a trip hours away without telling my mom, who actually has custody of us. He wasn't gonna say anything. Nobody knew. And So then I got into a huge fight with him, just saying, like, you know what, whatever. Go take your trip. I don't care. I will do my project here. And I did. I stayed home and did my project at home. And I didn't go for a while. Like, we only went every other week. And I didn't go for about a month. And then I gave in because I wanted to let my brother be able to go, because my brother stuck by me and I wanted to make sure he could go see his dad. So I went with, and I just let everything go back to normal. And we had other problems with my stepmother. I don't remember them 100%. I've tried really hard to forget all of it. We had a lot of issues with her just ignoring us, or, you know, him and her making promises to us and then lying. We would have family meetings that were the worst thing, because if I had an issue, I didn't want to say it in front of everybody in that family. Like, it was really awkward. And I am not somebody that likes to be center of attention. And there were a lot of times, like, there was an entire period where my mom told him that he could see us, but he needed to take us elsewhere because we were not allowed to see my stepmom, which I was 100% okay with. I know my brother was okay with it because he really just wanted to have time with his dad. And then we eventually got over that, and we gave in. But the thing that finally broke me, and honestly I'm still recuperating from it, was 2 summers ago now. And in June, I think it was right before I was supposed to write finals. And I went to their house. My oldest brother hadn't been going for a while. He had gotten into a few fights with my dad. He had also just had a kid. And yes, he was still a teenager. He didn't come around very much. I had a lot of problems there, and honestly I didn't admit them. I used to hide in the basement where my bedroom was. I used to think that it was because I just wanted to hang out with my sister and didn't want to hang out with everybody else. Looking back at it, I didn't feel safe there. And I cannot stress this point enough, that my mom had no idea because I didn't say anything, and I was the one that had the problems. My brother didn't. I had the problems in every way. He didn't, so I didn't say anything because I had already been the bad guy because of the whole camping thing and a million other things. I didn't want to keep doing that. And honestly, I struggle to forget all the waking details of that. My youngest sister, who was the kid had between the two of them, she came downstairs, and already just before supper, my stepbrother had been blasting music down the vent because his bedroom was right above mine and my sister's, and he was blasting music knowing we could hear it. He blasted the music, would come downstairs, make sure we could hear it, and go back up, and then would sit and yell at us through the vent. So we kept trying to tell him to stop, because, like, we asked nicely first, and then he wouldn't stop, so we brought it up at supper, and it was the whole, okay, well, don't do that, like, that's not okay. Thanks, real helpful. So then my little sister took the advantage of trying to, excuse my language, piss us off. And she had one of those leap pads. She brought it to our bedroom door, and, like, slid under our bedroom door, because there's carpet outside and then it's hardwood on the inside. The opening was about this big. I will state this now. Not big enough for the leap pad to go through. Because everybody knows how thick a leap pad is. I hope. If you don't, please just search it up. Like, it's about this thick. She went up to our door, turned on music on her leap pad from some random game, turned up the music, and pushed it against our door. Pushed the speaker against our door. I cannot make this any more evident. And me and my sister were getting really angry. We were trying to do stuff. We were trying to talk. So I opened the door. I hadn't even taken the iPad yet. It was 2 times. So I went out there and I was like, can you please stop doing that? Like, we're trying to hang out in here. Please stop playing your music right against our door. Like, it's not nice. I shut the door, go back, sit down, we start talking again, and it goes off again. So at this point, I'm getting angry because already I had my stepbrother doing that through the fence, and now my sister is doing it right outside our door. So I went out there. If this is the leap pad being on, I picked it up, literally grabbed it from the edge, didn't touch the screen other than to pause it, and then simply asked her, please go either out to the living room and listen to your music or put your headphones in. I don't want you to keep doing this. This is not nice. Like, me and our sister are trying to talk and hang out. Please go and do it elsewhere. Give her back her leap pad. Next thing we know, we can hear her scream crying from upstairs. And I already know what's gonna happen. I'm not stupid. I've been there, done that. I'm ready for it. All of a sudden, my stepbrother comes downstairs, bangs on our door. My biological brother is in the bathroom, thankfully. And apologies, I've got a cat hair in my mouth. So I open the door. I'm like, let me reiterate based on what you've heard. My sister stayed on my bed the entire time. She did not leave that bed. I was the one that went and dealt with things. Because she wasn't confrontational. Honestly, I'm not either. But when I get pissed off, I'm going to go do something. So I open the door, and with the snootiest tone, he's like, my mommy wants to see you 3. Not just me and my sister. No. Me, my sister, and my brother. My brother was in his bedroom the entire time. He had nothing to do with this. I almost told my sister to stay downstairs, but I knew if I didn't have somebody else up there, I would have no support. So we went upstairs. I started growing out my nails. I still, to this day, try and keep these 2 thin because of this. And I still struggle with it. Like, I will still do this and dig my nails into my hand when I'm upset. The way that their house was, you went up the stairs, like they turned like this, you had a little platform to go to the garage, up the stairs, turn out, and there's kitchen, there's an island, and then the table. So we get up those stairs. Not only is my brother there, well, my stepbrother, my biological brother, thankfully he was in the bathroom, he did not come up. Like, he didn't even know this was going on. I go up there. My stepbrother is sitting at the table, my sister is sitting at the table, and my wicked stepmother is sitting at the table with the, again, pardon my language, the bitchiest face. So me and my sister stand behind the island because I did not want to be anywhere near that woman. And she winds up looking at me, looks me dead in the eyes, and asks what happened. So I go to start saying, like, my sister is doing this, and she cuts me off, starts freaking out at me because I broke the leap pad, because I turned it off wrong, so it messed it up, that I was being rude. I I had to pull up my big girl panties and act my age because my sister is a child. I am still a minor. I was 15. This kid is 3. But I have to be the adult, pull up my big girl panties, and not act she might as well have said to not act like a bitch. She might as well. She sat and yelled at me. My dad is nowhere. I know where he is. He is in the living room, right down, you literally walk, turn, there it is. There's no door, there's no closing off. You can hear everything perfectly. And that man sat on his ass in the living room on the couch and did nothing. He did not help. My sister's up there for no reason except for moral support. At this point, I'm getting angry and I started digging my finger. I can't prove it except with this hand because this one's still long. But I sat and dug it into the tip of my thumb. I genuinely felt like it was bleeding by the end of the conversation. So she starts losing her mind at me. And then I finally get a chance to speak without being cut off. And I looked at her and I was like, look, your daughter was pushing her lead pad against our door and blasting her music. I simply opened the door, asked her to stop, and then she continued. So I took her lead pad, paused the music, did not turn it off. I pushed one little button. I knew what I was doing. I have fixed lead pads for children before. And I asked her to stop. And now here we are. And that woman had the balls to look me in the eyes and say, well, that wouldn't have fit under the door. The lead pad's too thick for that. Excuse me? And I looked at her and I was like, I did not say that it went under the door. I said she pushed it against the door. And I'm trying really hard not to get angry because I don't want to raise a scene. But I'm getting angry. And between her flipping my words and lying to me, and then she kept going off saying how this was their house, not ours. This is no home to us, even though for the last 5 years she's been trying to make us see that, oh, well, this will always be a home for you. This is home, don't worry. And now it's not our home. Well, don't worry, I never felt like it was. And after she continued to yell at us, because her children can do no wrong, they're sweet little angels, my stepbrother, who, he was probably 6, 7, he starts going off on me. At that point, now I'm pissed. Now I am so far over the edge. So I finally lose my mind, and I was like, I lost my mind. I still tried to hold my cool because I was really trying. I didn't want to be that person that has no respect. But yet I don't get respect back. And I was like, okay, I never said that she put that underneath the door. I never turned it off. I said she put it against it and I paused the music. So finally, after she finished yelling at us, she's like, well, you guys can go now. I'm sorry, is this a meeting? Is this a conference? I can leave? Meeting adjourned? At this point, do you want to say that the bell doesn't dismiss me? That you do? So I was so beyond angry because I knew my dad sat in that room and didn't say a word because he will stand by his wife. And for years, my mom had been telling me that it doesn't matter what time it is, if I need to come home, if I need anything, to call her. At this point, it was almost 10 o'clock at night. And I barely got around that corner, and I started crying solely because of how angry I was. Because I wasn't able to let out my anger. So my body bottled it up and cried. So I went downstairs, and I started shouting. That house was not well, like, the voice or the volume didn't like stay quiet in that house. And I started yelling, saying how, you know, they don't respect us, that, like, I was swearing. I didn't care. Then my sister's like, she's like, you need to be quiet, like, they're gonna hear you. And I was like, I don't care, I hope they do. Like, please, let them hear me. Let their kids hear me. Let them hear me. I don't care. And I let everything out. I just yelled. So I grabbed my phone. I called my mom. I am still crying. Like, I was so angry. Like, I wasn't even sad. I was angry. And I could barely get the words out. So I finally told her what happened. And she's like, okay, I'll be there in a few, like... And of course, it's like a 30-40 minute drive to come and get us. And she's like, go and ask your brother if he wants to come home too. Like, tell him what's going on. And, you know, get packed and you can come home, whatever. So I went, told my brother, and I was like, it's up to you. Like, I'm not going to be upset with you if you stay here. It's not your fight or anything. But do you want to stay? And he decided he wanted to, which, like, was fine. I don't care. Like, it was my fight. They were being rude to me. It had nothing to do with my brother. It was fine. And I got packed, and my sister looked at me and she's like, do you want me to come upstairs with you while you wait for your mom? And I was like, yeah, like, I don't want to be up there alone. And I got up there, and that man looked me in the eyes and said, what happened? I was like, I'm not saying it again. I already texted my partner, or I was already texting my partner. Thankfully, they were still up. I already called my mom and told her. I already lived it, and I told my brother. I did not want to relive it for a fifth time at that point. And so then he laid on the couch. He didn't sit up once. And he does this and opens his arms to me. And of course, at the time, I was that person where it's like, I'm not going to be mean. And I hugged him back. To this day, I regret that decision. And my brother came upstairs and he walked me out. Not my dad. I didn't blame my sister for not walking me out. She didn't need to. She already was doing enough by standing upstairs with me the whole time. She came up with me to make sure that I wasn't alone. So my brother walked me out, and my mom told him, like, stay away from our stepmom, and he was completely fine with that. And as we were about to drive away, I noticed my little sister in the window with the cockiest little grin on her face. And, like, I'll never forget basically how proud she was that she sent me home. And my mom was so angry that this happened, that there was nothing she could do. Like, she said, she's like, I was really thinking about going and talking to both of them, and she didn't, because, like, she has and will always protect me and my brother. And honestly, I know that would have turned into a huge fight. So I said bye to my brother, told him I'd see him tomorrow. Or no, that was the Friday night. I literally had not been there for 5 hours. And I went home. So my brother was staying for Saturday and was coming home Sunday. So Saturday, the Friday night, me and my mom and my stepdad, we went and watched Queer Eye, which made me feel better. And The next day we sat and did some cleaning in our garage, and my stepdad's like, so what if we go swimming tomorrow? I was like, okay. Like, we were supposed to go swimming on the Saturday with my dad's side, but I already knew he was going to cancel it because every time he made plans, he canceled it for some reason or another. And then I find out from my sister, because she texted me to make sure I was okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, what are you up to? And she's like, oh, we're going swimming. Of course you are. Of course you are. I'm not there, so why not? And I was like, oh yeah, it's fun. So then Friday passed, Saturday passed. I didn't get a text. I didn't get a text until Saturday night from him saying, well, can I talk to you tomorrow? I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I've got plans tomorrow. Like, tough luck. I don't recall where my mom, or where my stepdad was at the time. My mom was in the living room waiting for my brother to get dropped off on Sunday. I was in the kitchen eating, and my brother got home. He said goodbye to my dad. He comes up the stairs and he's like, Dad wants to talk to you. I was so aggravated. So I went, pulled a mean move. I was eating a burger and I took the biggest bite I possibly could so that I wouldn't have to talk to him. And he just had the biggest load of BS response. I barely remember that day. I just remember him hugging me and me just being so angry that he thought that everything was okay. And so the next time that the following weekend rolled around, I told him I wasn't going. My brother still went, and again, it didn't matter to me. Like, it's his choice. And on that Saturday, we were supposed to go because he is in charge of buying us our outdoor shoes. I don't wear indoor shoes, or I didn't wear indoor shoes anymore because I didn't do gym. So I went, got in the vehicle. None of them said a word to me except my sister. I didn't get so much as a hi out of any of them. We got to the mall. Me and my sister went to the, girly store. And I basically decided to give them a big ol' FU because they were super homophobic and honestly tried to, say that it was a phase that I was going through. So I put on a pink shirt, I tied a purple sweater around my waist, and then wore my blue jeans. I still have pictures of that outfit, and I honestly could still wear it today if I put it together. And I wore my colors proud. And I went, and the only words that got spoken to me were, pick whatever you want, here's my credit card, bring it back to me after. So I bought 2 pairs of boots that are both pretty much in shambles at this point, which is really aggravating to me. But they were on sale, so it's not like it cost him a bunch. It cost him half the price he spent on my brother's shoes to pay for 2 of mine. And I still love those shoes, both of them. They're both boots, and I love them. I still wear them. And I had brought money with me. Me and my sister went and got drinks. And when we got back, everybody was like, well, why didn't you get us anything? I'm sorry, I used my money. My sister used her money to get her drink. Tough luck. If I was going to buy a drink for anybody, it was going to be my brother. That's it. He was the only one that was even remotely kind to me. And when I got home, like I told them, because he's like, oh, well, why don't you, like, stay and hang out? No. And then my sister asked, she's like, so my boyfriend's coming over, do you want to meet him? I was like, sure. I'll go to meet your boyfriend, but I'm going home tonight. Like, I'm not staying. And her and I, honestly, let's just say that was going to be the last good time I ever had with her. She put music on with her phone. We walked up and down the sidewalk outside with no shoes on and sang our hearts out until her boyfriend got there. I met him, completely thought he was a sleazebag. I was right. And I went home and I told my mom that they virtually said nothing to me. And so that Sunday when he came, I talked to him. I cried so much because whenever I said to him, I was like, I'm not welcome in your home. And he literally looked at me and said, I never said that. For any of you that are going through or have gone through a similar situation, you'll know that it doesn't just mean, if you didn't say it, it's not the actual feelings. Because actions speak louder than words. And I never felt like I was welcome. Fair warning, I do know this is running long. I don't want to split it into 2 parts because I'm not going to have enough for a second part, I don't think. So, I apologize, but once I get through the ones that are a lot harder topics, I promise the videos will definitely get shorter. I will have more fun with them. But I had this fight, and he pretended that everything was okay, and he left. So then the following time he came, and I was just about to go visit family, like my mom's side family, a couple weeks from then. And I knew that trip was gonna suck because, they're not like biologically family, it's just my mom's best friend, and I dated her son, and that was when I was going to break up with him. So I already knew that was gonna suck. And when my dad came to drop off my brother on the Sunday, my mom had told him that we needed to talk to him. He stood at the bottom of my stairs in my house. My mom sat on the stairs and patted down beside her so I would come and sit. She talked to him like an adult, and he acted like a child. He acted like I was in the wrong, and I got so upset when he started going off on my mom. And nobody was supposed to be involved in this. This wasn't anybody else's fight. This was my fight. And I finally stood up, walked away, walked into the bathroom that was right across from the stairs, and I said, I'm done. I sat on the edge of that tub, and I was crying. And he hadn't even left yet. My mom apologized to me, saying that she did what she could, and I knew she did. I knew, she really did do everything. And, he walked out of my house and slammed my door. And when I heard the door slam, I already struggle with loud noises, and hearing that really made me jump. And I sat and cried. I couldn't stop myself. because this man who promised that he would never leave me, that he loved me, that he wanted to adopt me. He wanted to be my dad. He didn't have any obligation. My mom never asked him to be my dad. But he swore he would stick around, and he didn't. And he left exactly 10 years after my dad did. And then in the November after that, I got into a huge fight with my sister because my brother stood up for me and stopped going. I was forcing him to stay away. Me and my mom were doing everything to make him hate my dad. And she was my best friend. Like, she was my best friend. And I was done. I went upstairs and I showed my mom. And she might as well have just told me that she hated me. She might as well have called me a villain because that's what she was acting like I was. And she completely broke me. Her and my older brother were all I had left of them. And I really thought I'd never lose them. And I did. I blocked them both everywhere because I knew if she was fighting with me, he would too. And every time I block her on a different form of social media, she messaged me on the next one saying, "What are you doing? Why do you keep blocking me?" And I didn't have the want. I was done. I was over it all. I blocked all of them. I blocked everybody that was their family, that was related, like had any sort of contact with them, that was going to take their side. My brother did the same. And I opened my original YouTube channel that I made forever ago. And my sister had been commenting on my videos, telling me that I had to speak to her and that I needed to stop ignoring her, and like was doing this on a public platform. Like this was my like safe place for the longest time. And she was attacking my comment threads. And so I blocked her on that. I made it so she couldn't see my videos. And then there was a day I went on Pinterest and noticed I had a message. And here I'm thinking like, oh, well, like my friend probably sent me something, or like, you know, my mom or whatever. Nope. I had a message from her saying, "You need to talk to me." And she just kept sending messages. And so I finally answered, and I was like, what? What is it you could possibly want to talk about? Because I don't have anything I want to say. And she started going off. She started trying to badmouth my mom. My mom, who she doesn't even know. And she started saying how I was a terrible sister and how I was hurting my brother by forcing him to not see his dad, which that was his choice. And when she brought my mom and my brother into it, I texted her and I was like, look, it is bad enough you're fighting with me and you've honestly broken my trust. Like, you were supposed to be my best friend. You cannot bring my mom into this. You cannot bring my family into this. And I was like, my mom has nothing to do with this. You don't even know my mom. And I finally said, I was like, do not contact me or my family or my brother ever again. Like, and I blocked her. I was so over it. I was done being hurt. And within a matter of months, I lost siblings, I lost family, I lost so many people. And as I look back, that family was incredibly toxic. I was forced to do things that I shouldn't have had to do while I was there. And my sister would make comments about my art, saying how she should give me pointers when I've been working on art since I was a child and she wasn't good at it. I wore a bikini and she told me how I should not wear a bikini because guys only like big boobs and big asses. And since I didn't have that, I shouldn't wear a bikini. And I still will not wear a bikini. I have a one piece and that is all I will wear, and even then I tend to put shorts on top of that. And like I'll walk around in crops, but I can't put on a two-piece. And there were hundreds of other things that were said, that were done, that I basically erased from my brain. I pretended they didn't happen. And I mean, I can admit now, I have trust issues. I don't like going out because I don't want to connect with people, because I know when I connect with them, they leave. And I've already made the video about my relationships, and that in and of itself, I had two people, well, one didn't leave, but the other one did. And I don't know, for the longest time I thought there was clearly something wrong with me, because I managed to drive all these people away. I drove away friends, family, I drove away 2 dads. And it's taken me a long time to realize that it was nothing to do with me. I did nothing wrong, but I still struggle. And I tried to do counseling, and my counselor ended up making it out to be my fault. Somehow I was interpreting things wrong that happened with my brother's dad. It was my fault for not trying to contact my biological dad. And I had never felt so bad talking to a counselor. That's the 3rd counselor I've ever talked to in my life. I've always had to go through the school, just because, like, I've never really had the option to go elsewhere. And she tried to, like, blame the feelings I had about my relationship on me. That, you know, I was just upset about things I couldn't control, which I feel like that's a natural reaction to things. When, you know, you're cheated on. Like, when your relationship is destroyed for no reason. It never should have happened. The relationship never should have, in all realisticity. There was no reason that I should have had it made out to be my fault, and I stopped speaking to her. But I remember getting off that call, because I've had to do it from a distance. And I remember getting off the call after she made it out to be my fault, that I hadn't tried to contact my dad, that I wasn't looking at it from an adult standpoint when I was the child. Every person who's come into my life, and my mom for the most part, has done her damnedest to help me get through this and to prove that, like, I never did anything wrong in what I did. I stood up for myself. I stood up for my siblings who didn't return the favor. Apologies. I was just finally over being hurt by people who didn't care. And I still got hurt by people trying to tell me that I was still wrong, who don't actually know. And I sat in my room and I felt like I was completely backtracking. This woman was supposed to help me, and she wound up making it way harder. I really struggled. So, yeah. Anyways, for any of you that have gone through anything like this, had somebody walk out or treat you like you were less than, and I know in the LGBT community, in any minorities, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are, in some way you're going to be talked down like you're less than in any of these circumstances. But like, just know that, like my mom's told me, that's a reflection of them, not of you. Everything that we work for, everything that we put an effort into, that's us doing our part. So if you're going through similar circumstances, or you have and you don't want to admit it, or you can't move on, I feel that, and I am more than willing to talk. I've made an Instagram that is same name as my YouTube channel, and I don't think I've posted anything on there yet, but I gotta make sure I don't read off my personal account, because I don't know it off the top of my head yet. I haven't done it. Yeah, so it's by_Rose_for_quality. And the profile, once you go onto it, I have 1 follower. I'm following like 11 people, because I'm following people that have been really positive on social media, that I have felt have helped me more than people in my real life. It says Rose on there in the name section, she, her, and I've got a description. It says that my YouTube is, this. It just says to, feel free to DM me for questions if you want me to design a personal wallpaper for you. And then the main image is, it's this, but upside down. I might too. Hold on. Because I drew this on the back of my, so yeah, it says Venom, but if you flip it upside down, it says woman. So, it's not hard to find. Yeah. Feel free to message me if you're struggling, if you want to talk, or, just have like something you want me to post about. I'll do my best on stuff like that. But yeah, I want this to be something that can help people. I'm not in it for the view, or for the subscribers, or the views, or the likes. I feel like the views give me the hope that there are people seeing this that need it. I know my coming out story has a lot of views currently, and I'm hoping that that's in a good way. But for 2 people that subscribe to me, thanks for that. I honestly didn't think I'd ever have people like actually want to like continuously be on this. But yeah, I am gonna do my best to start posting more. I don't have school right now, or for the next year. I'm going on a trip in August. I might blog a bit. I don't know. I'll probably just end up taking like videos and pictures and stuff, and I'll just put them all together, share it. I'll probably share stuff on my Instagram. I have one other Toxicity video to make, and that's on the friendship realm, which will probably come in a while. I'm going to try to find something fun and happy to make. If you have any suggestions, please let me know, because I have no idea what to do right now. I'm definitely struggling to come up with ideas. I honestly should have written down the ideas that I had. I might have to go back in the one video. I don't remember which one I did that. But give me suggestions. Let me know if there's anything you want me to address. If there's anything that I've said in any of my videos that, you know, you've related to in some way and you want me to expand on it, I will. I will do my best to help in any way I can with any circumstances that you're going through. But that is where I'm going to leave this video. I've definitely gone for a while, but I didn't quite have enough to make a second part, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!